When we hear the term workplace abuse, most people think of the obvious things like shouting, bullying, or overt discrimination. But here's the thing, it's often much more subtle, and because of that, it's easy to miss, especially if you're a high performer, people pleaser, or someone who's grown up in environments where dysfunction was normalized. As an executive business coach who's worked with thousands of professionals over the years, I can confidently say that many people don't realize they're in a toxic workplace until they're completely burnt out or on the verge of quitting. Or worse, needing long term time off due to stress related illness. In this video, I'm shining a light on 7 often overlooked signs of workplace abuse in the hope that you can start to recognize them earlier. And just to be clear, this is about patterns, not one off events. Any workplace can have the odd bad day or miscommunication. But if these things are happening fairly regularly, that's a red flag worth paying attention to. I'm Jo Banks. I spent almost 20 years as a senior HR professional before setting up my coaching practice 16 years ago. Since then, I've worked with tens of thousands of people to help them have happier, healthier lives, and I'm sharing what I know. Before we get started, can I ask you a huge favour? Only a tiny number of my viewers subscribe, like, or comment, and it really makes a huge difference to the algorithms. It's completely free, and if you don't have a YouTube account, that's free too, and it takes seconds to set up. You'll never get emails from me. I don't even get to see those details, YouTube, or anyone else. Your support really makes a massive difference in helping me produce this free content. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. 7 clear signs of workplace abuse. So let's start with number 1. You constantly second guess yourself. If you've noticed yourself saying things like, maybe it's just me, I'm probably overreacting, I should be able to handle this, they are red flags. Toxic, coercive, manipulative behaviour often involves gaslighting, a psychological tactic that makes you doubt your own perceptions, memory, or sanity. I have an entire video on gaslighting. I'll leave the link below. It could be a manager who denies saying something they clearly said, dismisses your concerns, or repeatedly tells you you're too sensitive when you raise an issue. Or maybe you believe that you're the only one that this behaviour is happening to, and you start to think that you're imagining things. There is such a thing as covert bullying. And again, I've done videos on that. I'll leave links below. Covert bullying is where the bully is very selective about who they choose to make a victim and when and where they mistreat them. To the outside world, they may appear to be a wonderful, shining example of a human being, making any complaints against them seem impossible. And it's hugely manipulative. Over time, you may lose trust in yourself and your ability to judge what's okay and what's not. This is especially common in HSPs, highly sensitive people, or what we often refer to as empaths. And I've talked about that in another video too. The link will be below. It can also affect those who grew up in controlling or authoritative type or narcissistic type environments. Number 2, you're treated like a problem for having needs. If you ask for time off, flag burnout, or raise a well-being concern, do you get support, or are you met with eye rolls, passive aggression, or subtle punishments? In abusive workplaces, simply having needs like time, space, support, or work-life balance can be treated as an inconvenience. You might be made to feel guilty for taking a sick day, or you're subtly excluded from projects or opportunities after asking for flexibility. This is workplace abuse because it punishes you for being human. Everyone has limits. Everyone needs rest and reasonable accommodations at times. A healthy workplace supports that. An abusive one will punish it, often quietly and without saying a word. Number 3, you feel invisible or unacknowledged. Recognition is not about ego, it's a basic psychological need. But in abusive workplaces, your achievements are routinely overlooked. Worse, others may take credit for your work, or leadership might act like your contributions are expected and therefore not worth acknowledging. Being ignored, dismissed, or left out of meetings, emails, WhatsApp groups, or not being given praise doesn't always look like abuse at first, but over time, it can chip away at your self worth and confidence. If you're working hard, going above and beyond, and still feel like you're being treated as insignificant, it's not just a you problem. It's like it's a toxic culture or a toxic manager issue. Number 4, you're walking on eggshells. This is a biggie and a huge red flag. Do you find yourself constantly scanning for mood shifts in your manager or colleagues? Are you overthinking every email, worried that you might have said the wrong thing, or nervously waiting for a reaction once you've pressed send? That's a sign that your nervous system does not feel safe. And when that's happening in your job, huge red flag. Healthy workplaces create psychological safety. That means that people can make mistakes, give feedback, speak up, and be themselves without fear of backlash. If you're always in fight, flight, freeze mode at work, it's a major sign that something isn't right. Number 5, you're expected to be always on. It's one thing to be busy, it's another to feel like you can never switch off and you always have to be available, even at weekends, holiday, or vacation for my US viewers. I remember a previous director of mine, my former bully, who I've discussed in a previous video, being really annoyed when I finally set a boundary and said that I wouldn't be reading my emails while I was on holiday on a beach in St. Lucia. He said, if you just kept on top of them, it would be much easier when you get back. In fact, he was quite disgusted when I said no. I was expected to be available 24/7, and the whole culture of the organisation was to be in full work mode on a Sunday evening, even though for office workers, the hours were Monday to Friday. Often, I still get what I call Sunday scaries, and I have done a video on that too, as a result of my bullying experience, and that was 16 years ago. So it shows you how this stuff can stay stored in your nervous system. Toxic workplaces often reward over-functioning and treat it as standard. You might be praised for skipping lunch, replying to emails late at night, or being the one who always stays late. But this is hustle culture and quickly turns abusive when there's no recognition, no additional support, no respect, and when it's expected. If you're made to feel guilty for not checking in on your day off or expected to work through illness or family crisis, it's not just poor management, it's exploitative. You're a person, not a machine. Any workplace that doesn't get that is not a healthy one. Number 6, blame is the default setting. In abusive environments, when something goes wrong, the focus isn't on fixing the issue. It's on finding someone or something to blame. These workplaces often lack psychological safety. People are terrified of making mistakes. Innovation is stifled and teams become rife with politics and finger pointing. If you've noticed, leaders regularly throw people under the bus, colleagues avoiding responsibility out of fear, a lack of transparency and accountability, you're likely in a blame culture. This might not seem like abuse at first glance, but over time it becomes a traumatizing environment where people feel unsafe, unsupported, and emotionally exhausted. Number 7, Your gut feeling says something's off. Let's not underestimate this one. Your body knows before your brain does when something's wrong. If you're dreading work on a Sunday night, crying before logging on, experiencing headaches, stomach problems, backaches, or having dreams about your boss yelling at you, it's your nervous system waving a big red flag. Abusive work environments trigger chronic stress. And if you've spent enough time in a toxic environment, your body will tell you something's wrong, even if you're trying to convince yourself that it's not that bad. Pay attention to that inner knowing. You don't need anyone else to validate it for it to be real. What to do if this is you? If you've watched this far and some or all of these signs are ringing alarm bells, I want you to know you're not imagining it, you're not weak, and you're not alone. Many people stay in toxic or abusive jobs far too long because they doubt themselves, they don't want to cause a fuss, they worry about money or reputation, they hope things will get better. Now, those are all very valid and understandable fears, but staying in a toxic job for too long can have a huge personal cost. Your health, confidence, and long-term career prospects can be severely affected. Here are some gentle, practical steps, although I do go into all of this in many of my other videos, but it will give you an idea of where to start. Number 1. Start documenting. Keep a private, factual record of incidents, dates, details, witnesses, any hard copy, so emails, texts, that sort of thing, anything you can get hold of. This is especially important if you escalate or need to raise a formal concern. Without it, the company won't be able to do anything. Number 2, talk to someone you trust. Whether it's a coach, mentor, or friend, saying it out loud can help you get perspective and reduce the shame. If that feels a bit too icky, it can also be really helpful to journal it. Get the information out of your head and onto paper. It also makes it a lot more real. You can't then convince yourself that it's not really happening. It's a really critical tool that I recommend to lots of my clients. Number 3, set micro boundaries. Start small. Can you finish on time today? Not check your emails after 6 o'clock. Say no to something non-essential. These actions build your confidence and help you reclaim your sense of agency. Number 4, look at your options. You don't have to jump ship overnight, but it's worth exploring what's possible. Could you transfer teams, change jobs, go part-time while you regroup? Always have a plan B. Super helpful. Number 5, prioritize your mental health. Whether it's counseling, coaching with someone like myself, or simply getting more rest. Here's the thing, you matter. And healing from workplace abuse takes time. You have to be kind to yourself. Number 6, have that exit strategy. I always recommend that when you have enough documented incidents, you file a formal complaint. However, that said, you should always have a backup plan, a plan B, if you will. Get your CV or resume ready, start looking for a new job. And if you're in the UK, I have an online program that takes you step by step through the whole job hunting process, including writing a CV, interview skills, and where to find a job. I'll leave the link in the description. The wrap up. Workplace abuse isn't always dramatic or obvious. Sometimes it looks like a quiet erosion of your self-worth, confidence, and joy. The slow drip, drip, drip of invalidation, pressure, and neglect is just as harmful as shouting or overtly bullying, but often really hard to spot. If anything I've said in this video has resonated with you, take it as a gentle nudge to look more closely at your situation. You deserve to feel safe, valued, and respected at work. And if you're ready to take your next steps, whether that's setting boundaries, rebuilding confidence, or getting out of a toxic environment, I have tons of free resources on my website at jobanks.net, and I have over 80 videos on YouTube on how to handle toxic and bullying work environments and narcissistic behavior. I'll leave the link below to the playlist. Remember, awareness is everything. Educate yourself, because we cannot change what we're not aware of. Educating yourself is absolutely critical. What next? If you have anything you'd like to add to today's video or any topics you'd like to see me cover in future, please leave them in the comment section below. I read and respond to everything and really love interacting with you all. If you enjoyed this video, can I ask a huge favour, please? Please support this channel with a like, comment, subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a thing. It's completely free, and if you don't have a YouTube account, it takes seconds to set one up, and that's completely free too. You'll never get emails from me, YouTube, or anyone else, and it really does make a massive difference in helping me grow this channel. Finally, thank you to everybody who stays until the very end, and thank you so much for your support. It really means the absolute world to me. Thank you.